Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Homestuck Readers Theater Hour. I am your faithful Uncle Walrus, and I am here to introduce you to a lovely group of folks, and a very lovely, talented group of folks. Starting from the top here.
Hello, I'm Alex, and I will be doing the voice of Dave.
Next person.
Okay, hi, I'm Heather, and I will be doing the voice of Rose tonight.
All right.
I'm Nico, and I will be being Jade tonight.
I am Neil, and I will be doing the voice of Wayward Vagabond.
And I am Jonathan Knoll, as always, your Uncle Walrus, and I will be doing the voices of the narrator and John. Oh boy. All right. The alchemider requires 1 unit of any type of grist to produce 1 card. You decide to use shale since it seems less generally useful than build grist as of now. You make a whole bunch of them. Change page.
Whoa, did you just make all of these?
Yes.
Sweet, thanks. What did you do with all the blue wobbly face-looking things?
I brought the totems out to the alchemider to test them. I'm taking some things in my own hands to, save some time or something.
Okay.
Change page. And just so you know, audience, I have been doing the voice of George Takei as the narrator and the voice of Zorak from Space Ghost as John.
And Rose is just a stereotypical Valley girl for this run. So, yeah, fun times.
Cool, cool. You create a hammer at the expense of 2 units of build grist. Change page. You make a pogo ride 2, -5, build, 1 shale. Oh my. Change page. You use the totem carved with a random code. You create a rocket pack with some random crap stuck inside it. Looks like a cinder block, a violin, and a flower pot. The items have rendered the device completely inoperable. Change page. You figure you might as well put this piece of junk to use. John, collect cards. Change page. Using a little strategy, first you grab Harry Anderson's Wise Guy by Mike Cavney, then the cards, then you eject your PDA, then the book again to flush the cards into your deck. Nice going. John, turn on detect collisions. Delectable collisions. Change page! You flip your fetch modi, but find no such option. This is idiotic. John, read book. Be the wise guy. Change page. Okay, this one I kind of forgot to pick a voice for, so anybody want to read this one?
Okay. I can cover it. This is fine. Okay, so an introduction. Who is this wise guy? Blood loss in the Big Easy. New Orleans, 1977. The close-up room at the Magic Castle was this mean little box that tended to fill up with so much smoke that you'd swear someone was cremating a wet dog in there. In walks Anderson. There isn't much that gets liquor to pause its journey from the table to my lips, but I'll be the bastard love child of a listless octoroon if that kid wasn't the cat that swallowed the canary in a dapper little hat. It looked like he was testing the tensile strength of his suspenders to the damn near limit with a pair of cocky thumbs. I wasn't impressed, but I was a fool. Somehow, in my motion for another beverage, he'd already slipped into polite conversation at a table held down by some notoriously brusque regulars. He had them in no time flat. They were melting butter in his glass ramekins. Whatever tidy yarn he'd spun to win them over, didn't catch a word of it. One of them laughed. I was angry. Envious? Maybe a little. Yeah, you bet I was. Anderson had one of those little wooden finger choppers that Mickey Hades used to sell. The kind where the blade could be removed and clearly shown. It was a very convincing little guillotine that did not look like a novelty store toy. Harry would get a guy to examine the chopper, then cut a cigarette in half. Then he held the guy's hand up and told the silly story. The story, of course, was artifice, a distraction for the guy in the audience while he worked his stuff with the chopper. Or it would become that, once his famous chopper trick was perfected, vaulting him into fame, fortune, and the crowning position in the television judiciary. With what became his signature aplomb, Anderson was in moments a font of breast pocket gauze, profuse apology, and redoubling determination. It's really amazing how hard it is to find a bloody sausage-sized piece of a guy on the floor of a room that dark and smoky. Impossible, I think we all proved. Just as impossible as blind Willie Buttermilk Stubbs was going to find it to work his trumpet tomorrow night without his twiddling fingers.
You never really understood what Kavney's relation to Anderson was, or why he wrote this book about him. His ambivalent attitude towards your favorite magician in these anecdotes always struck you as a little weird. And to be honest, you tend not to read much of the text in the book. Oh my. You mostly like to look at the diagrams for all the cool little tricks. Change page! Alex, would you like to...
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Here is a perfect example of how Harry could ruin several decks of cards, waste everyone's valuable time, and have you love him for it. He was good at that. One day, he nosily emptied his suit jacket pocket onto the hood of his car in search of change for the meter. A clunky metal thing slid from the pile and bounced on the sidewalk. As I retrieved it for him, I asked what he was doing with a hole puncher in his pocket.
You might want to explain your impression here.
I'm trying to do a rich snobby guy, I guess.
I don't know. I think it sounds...
Simpsons.
Yeah, I think it sounds honestly more like Nicolas Cage.
Sorry. His face lit up at the question like he was an elf, and I asked him how he felt about climbing into the hollow of a big tree to bake some cookies or something. The 2-foot 6-inch high differential between us causes these comparisons to enter my mind. A small crowd had already gathered around even before he produced the first pack of unmolested cards. However, people seemed to gather, and how they even knew a street performance is about to take place, I'll never know. It's perhaps Anderson's greatest trick. Blurring the marks like that. I wanted to ask if he was sure about this performing in broad daylight, but he was used to working in dark rooms. It was usually the first thing out of his mouth when he would queer a trick. I'm
really more accustomed to working in the darker room than this.
But Harry was excited, and had already butchered the first deck of cards with the hole puncher. And I lost my place. Ah, there it is. And issued the first round of apologies to the crowd. These were like the primer apologies, the sort that got the folks loosened up a bit before the 7-course. The folks loosened the 7-course meal. Sorry. And of
Ingratiation
that would inevitably follow. He asked me for a fresh deck of cards, and I gave him one. The principle behind the trick, in theory, is, as he explained to me later, was to punch the holes in what appeared to be one card, but was in fact two or more together. Hence the difficulty he often had in squeezing the puncher into his little elfish hands. Then, using some coy maneuvers with his thumb, temporarily concealing the hole while he slid the card beneath it with his palm, the hole would seem to disappear or move to another part of the card. Okay.
Oh. Oh yeah, that's right. The hole in the ace trick. Interestingly enough, pertaining to punching holes in cards and making them disappear and stuff. Your hands were never really strong enough to make this one work all that well either. But actually, this gives you an idea. Oh my. Change page! You overlap two of the punch cards. They mask each other's hole patterns. John, put both cards in totem lathe. Change page. Change card. You carve another totem using the new combined hole pattern. John, take it to the alchemister. Oh man, looks like Rose made 1,000,000 hammers for some reason. Get all this shit out of the way. You're about to make something sweet. Change page. Change page. Hey. You got the pogo hammer. John, practice with new weapon. Change page. Oh boy. Yay, dialogue.
Ooh. Like, what did he do?
I combined the cards in the lathe thingy and made this. It is so sweet, man. Look at me go.
I see. Like, that was a really good idea, John. Like, nice work.
Thanks. I got the idea from Harry Anderson.
Who?
You know the show Night Court?
No, Gertie to the max.
Oh, well, bottom line is, he's awesome. That's really all there is to say on the matter.
John, attack the nearest imp to test Pogo Hammer's strength. Change page. You get a vicious rhythmic bouncing combo going and easily slay the imp in one blow. You and the Pogo Ride are catapulted high in the sky in the process. Change page. Change page. And continue to change the page. Change it. Oh. Sweet catch! Changed page. And change it again. Rose, pester John.
Hey, that was pretty, nice.
Sweet catch.
Save. Oh yeah. This is pretty comfy. Why don't you just, like, carry the bed around with me on it? Up to the gate up there?
Like, I can't interact with you directly or anything that you are touching if it will result in moving you. Like, see?
Oh, lame.
Yeah, and like, gag me with a spoon. The game probably regards that as a kind of cheating. In a way, it's thieving you of your free will as an adventurer and the need to advance by your own skill and ingenuity. The server player is just like a facilitator.
Well, okay. All that scurrying around kind of wore me out. I think I'm going to rest here for a bit. Rose, can you keep the imps at bay, like, drop some stuff on them if they sneak too close?
No, you should pick up your hammer and defend yourself.
What? Come on!
Dude, I have, like, no idea what the hell Dave is up to, or if he's any closer to recovering the game. There's some stuff I'd like to try in case he doesn't come through.
Oh, alright. I'm just gonna rest my eyes for a second, though.
John, sleep. Oh my. Change page. And for sound pages, we usually just skip these, so I can turn that off. Anyway, Rose, check alchemy exorcists. Change page. Oh boy. Looks like a sort of index documenting all of the known results for punch card alchemy combinations. This could be a convenient resource as you start to stumble on more useful card combinations. But ever since John started punching cards, you've been contemplating other ways this item manufacturing system could be put in use. In particular, if you obtain the code for any item at your disposal, you think you could theoretically send the code to John, and he could make it himself. That is, if you can think of anything that would be worth sending to him. Rose, Captchalogue Spurb Server CD. Change page, not card. You eject the disk and Captchalogue the server's CD. Rose, message John the capture code. Change. Oh, damn it. Change page. And change page. Change page. Face palm 2 times combo. John, wake up. Come on. Ah, sound, no. Change page. And we have dialogue once more.
Hey.
Whoa. Excuse me.
Whoa, there you are.
How's the adventure going, John?
It's okay. I'm making some progress, and Rose finally connected again, so she's helping me now.
That's good.
Oh, but I don't think I'm actually saving the world here. I don't know what I'm really accomplishing, but I guess it's not that.
Well, I think whatever it is must be pretty important. Don't lose hope, John. I think it will all turn out for the best if you stay positive. Just keep listening to your grandmother's advice.
Yes, you're probably right, but, I don't think I mentioned Nana to you, did I?
Oh, I don't know, didn't you?
I don't know. Maybe you talked to Rose or Dave about it or something.
Yeah, maybe that was it.
They're really weird when they talk to you about when they talk to me about you. Like they're always trying to convince me you have some spooky powers. But I'm always like, no, she seems like a pretty regular girl to me. But then when I think back, maybe there are times when it seems like you know some things. Like maybe you know more about a thing than you are telling me. I don't know.
Well, John, I want to explain lots of things to you. Some things that I know. I'm just waiting.
Waiting for what?
Oh, John, I forgot to tell you. I was messaging you about that meteor that fell near my house.
Oh, yes. Whatever happened with that?
Oh, boy. Well, it turns out I was confused about it. Really confused. See, I guess I fell asleep for a while and lost track of time. That happens.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. Maybe you should, wear an alarm clock or something. So, what was the deal with the meteor?
Well, it's hard to explain, but I know what it is now, and now I know everything's gonna be okay.
So, what is it? Or is this just another thing you're waiting to tell me?
Oh gosh, John, I really want to tell you all this stuff, but I can't yet. I really think you need to wake up first.
Huh?
Well, okay, not literally. Well, okay, maybe. Kind of. Literally.
Ah! Stop being so confusing!
Wow. Anyway, time for you to go, John. I think you have some company.
Come back here! I will destroy you! I am the lone locust of the apocalypse!
John, quickly grab the pogo hammer. Change. Gosh, we're staring. Gosh, we're frightened. You stick the pogo hammer back in your strife specibus and get ready to kill some more of these pesky little... Huh? What's that? Change page. And change the page.
The book.
Rose, why aren't you dropping something on that thing? Oh no.
John, be the imp. Change. You be the imp and quickly abscond the fuck out of there. This is what weaker adversaries do when things get too hot to handle, which is frequently. John, prepare for a boss battle. Change. You stop being the imp because that was stupid and scurry over to your magic chest that you suddenly remembered was on the roof. There are some things in here that would be good to stock up for a major battle. But it looks like someone has plundered your chest. This is so outrageous. Change. And continue to change. You are being ambushed. There isn't much room to maneuver on this sloping roof. Maybe you should consider making your way to higher ground. John, ascend to the highest point of the house. Change. You go up here. John, look down. Change. You peek over the edge. Change. It already seems like a long way down to your yard, not even to speak of whatever's below. Hey, weren't your trick handcuffs dangling from that branch earlier? Damn it, why do imps got to be making off with all your sweet gear? John, turn around and see your destiny. Oh my. Change. You are confronted with a pair of enormous foes. This is it. You have no choice but to wage a fierce rooftop battle. This is totally going to happen now, and could in no way conceivably be interrupted by a sudden shift in our attention. It's go time. It's time to make this thing.
We're doing it, man. We're making this happen.
Dave, stop being the other guy. Change. You stop being the... You stop being the other guy. You're not even sure what that meant. Dave, ascend to the highest point of the building. Change. Oh boy, another sound one. Change. You are now the Wayward Vagabond. WV, retreat. Change. Got him already. Wayward Vagabond, examine rotten pumpkin. Change. What pumpkin?
Wow, that was creepy.
Wayward Vagabond, check the little red bar. Change. It appears to be a gauge for a large power cell, perhaps fueled by some type of nuclear reaction. If this is the case, it is relatively low on fuel, but who knows how long it has been running here. You do not care about this sort of nonsense, and you will disregard it at once. You are very hungry. Wayward Vagabond, capsulog can of gravy. Change. Capsulog? You have no idea what that means. It is total nonsense, and you do not know what to make of it. You will not give the foolish notion a second thought. Wayward Vagabond, pick up the can of gravy. Just pick it up. Change. You just pick it up. You are now holding the can of gravy. Wayward Vagabond, use sharp teeth to poke a hole in the lid of the can. Oh my. Change. Your teeth are useless for the task. They are blunt like that of livestock, presumably suitable for mashing up plant matter, and not for puncturing metal. Wayward Vagabond, attempt to open the can with your weak, pathetic digits. Change. Your weak, pathetic digits are not strong enough to penetrate the can. Your fingers are certainly pointy enough, and your black carapace is suitably rigid, but you don't have enough muscle for the task. Wayward Vagabond, take the can labeled beans. Change. Okay, you take that too. Wayward Vagabond, examine can of custard. Change. The can clearly reads mustard. In fact, you are perfectly well aware. It is sort of cumbersome holding all these cans at once. You doubt you can hold many more than this, maybe one or two. You'll need to find something to put this stuff in if you want to carry a lot of things around. A Wayward Vagabond, examine marking on wrist. Change. You drop all the cans and take a look at your wrist. Change. It is a sort of specialized barcode pattern. This brings up unpleasant memories, and you would prefer not to dwell on it. Wayward Vagabond, examine the small potted plant. Change. What plant? Wayward Vagabond, check book on human etiquette. Change. It appears half the pages of this book have been eaten. The daunting volume is considerably lighter than it once was. Change. You are somewhat skeptical about the nutritional value contained by these pages. However, of the practical wisdom they contain, there can be little doubt. You have learned so much. Wayward Vagabond, clear out all the cans inside the purple machine. Change. You empty the peculiar cabinet and take a quick inventory of your canned goods. You have beans, mustard, gravy, bread, shrimp, asparagus, cheese, rice, corn, peas, flour, chestnuts, mayo, ham, potatoes, and squash. Your such bountiful plenty, and yet the delights taunt you from within their small metal prisons. Wayward Vagabond, search room for can opener. Change. You have already looked all over the place for a can opener, even making a few electronic inquiries about one, to no avail. Nothing else inside the purple thing either. Wayward Vagabond, locate a nearby sharp object. Change. You wield your trusty knife. It is actually You're not sure what they're called. It's an odd rusted one of those red mailbox arm-swinging flappy doodads. Either for letting you know there's mail in the box, or maybe for alerting the mailman to outgoing mail to be collected. You don't know, really. You've wrapped a little piece of cloth around it for the grip. It is useless for opening cans. A Wayward Vagabond, be the imp. Change. This means nothing to you. You are not an imp. You have no idea what an imp is, and you will not entertain such frivolous and childish ideas ever again. You feel stupid and hate yourself a little for even considering it. A Wayward Vagabond, become the mayor of Cantown. Change. As the glorious founder of the mayor of Cantown, you erect a dignified, majestic city hall out of cans, fittingly capped off with a tome of good manners for the roof. You have given yourself a very official and important-looking mayoral sash, made out of old cables to complete your look of authority. A number of rather civic-minded citizen cans gather in front of the building to offer adulation to their fair and magnanimous leader. All is well. Change page! You immerse yourself in this beautiful dream as you whittle away the minutes, or perhaps hours. You love the idea of being a mayor. You love everything about mayors, and the concept of an orderly civil democracy. It all seems so mannerly and reasonable to you. Everyone is friendly and happy, and the city runs like clockwork. The foundation of the government is based on mutual respect between the leader and its people. It is also built on a really great mayor that everyone loves, who is totally amazing and heroic and brave. Change page! Mayors are so much better than kings. You hate kings, and you think kings are really stupid. They are petty, bossy tyrants, and they are really full of themselves, and are basically awful in every way. God, do you hate kings. Wayward Vagabond. Explore west of Cantown. Change page! Over here is the other side of the room. There's another one of those purple storage boxes, and some useless objects scattered on the floor. Wayward Vagabond, use glowing green rocks to open cans. Change page! You pick up the nugget of uranium and... Oh, that was so stupid. Why did you do that? Wayward Vagabond, examine box of crayons. Change. It's chalk, numbnuts. Okay, I've never heard George Takei say numbnuts, and now I really want him to actually say the word numbnuts.
I would agree with that. That'd be kind of interesting to say that.
Anyway, change page. Inside the box, there are 12 pieces of chalk in every color of the 10 pieces of chalk in most colors of the rainbow. You are excited by this. Wayward Vagabond, try to open the storage box. Change. It's locked. There must be some sort of release mechanism for this thing. A Wayward Vagabond, examine contents of yellow container. Change. Oh, that's interesting. Notice the symbol on the can?
It's motor oil.
The container is full of motor oil. This does not seem useful to you right now. It's also... Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's also the time symbol. Wayward Vagabond, rescue that poor lightning bug. Change page. We're almost there, come on. There is nothing you can do for this new little friend. Attempting to crush the amber encasing the firefly would likely cause it harm. It nevertheless bravely flashes on. You find its light alluring, inspiring. To you it seems as if it could quite easily serve as the light of... Change page. Democracy. Wayward Vagabond, use the chalk to draw some roads. Change. You sketch a handsome network of sprawling thoroughfares for your citizens to traverse. The adoring population applauds its mayor's keen instincts for city planning. You even add some lush vegetation to your city with a piece of blue chalk, because you can't seem to find a more suitable color for some reason. I am going to change my impression because, holy cow, I've been doing this impression for a long while. What would you recommend?
I don't have anything constructive. The first thing that came to mind was your mom.
That's not constructive at all.
Exactly. See?
I mean, Heather, you've worked with me before. What voice should I switch to?
Or you could always do Arnold.
I can do Arnold.
That might be a bit tiring,
Right.
but you can go for it for now. Or
Actually, the Arnold is surprisingly non-tiring.
okay, very good.
Put that cookie down! You sketch a handsome network of sprawling... Oh, wait a minute. Wayward Vagabond, lay a chalk foundation for Cantown civic growth. Change page!
Every other word.
You develop westward, settling those fertile plains and claiming them for your city. You section off a number of residential and commercial zones for civic growth, arranged in the only logical pattern that occurs to you. You color the residential zones with your piece of white chalk, but for some reason some of the colors in the box strike you as suitable for the commercial zones. Perhaps there is an alternative. Wayward Vagabond, use your own P for the commercial zones. Change page. You cannot urinate because you are You have not had anything to drink in quite some time. You are very thirsty. Also, this is a really terrible idea, and you would not consider befouling your wonderful city in that way for even a moment. Like me, the Governator. Use motor oil to designate commercial zones. Change page. You feel empty. You fill each empty square with a bit of motor oil to complete the zoning. It looks rather striking to you. You can hardly imagine what an up-and-coming young can trying to make it in the world would not be delighted to live in your fair district, like Los Angeles. You are very careful not to get any of the unpleasant fluid on your person. Wayward Vagabond, peel label from can of mayo and affix to sash. Change page. Or die.
So that's how Arnold became mayor.
Wayward Vagabond. Survey surroundings in search of more terrain for city. Change page. It seems you have run out of territory for your western expansion, but there is still a lot of empty wall space. Perhaps your citizens would be happier with a colorful backdrop. That would make them feel more at home. Yeah. Change. Using most of your imagination, an entire piece of sky blue chalk, you render a bright and cheerful sky full of clouds. You have decided that very closely orbiting your city is a luminous planet, about which orbits a single moon. You switch to another shade of blue and continue rendering on the western wall. Change page! Orbiting much further from your city are 4 planets. None of these have satellites, you've decided. Yes, that makes sense, you think. Change page! And on the southern wall, beyond an impenetrable veil of darkness, occupying the furthest orbit yet, there is an ominous planet. A moon circles this one too. Wayward Vagabond, check that rampaging boy on the screen. Change page. Oh yeah, it's that guy. You had almost forgotten about him and his confusing shenanigans, much like Sarah Connor. It seems like he has things well in hand at the moment. He does not appear to need your help, and you have already concluded that he cannot help you, at least for the time being. Wayward Vagabond, turn on the other 3 screens. Change page. You have no idea how to turn these on. There is no mouse for this weird quadro-monitored computer. It can only be operated through text commands from its keyboard. Perhaps there is a special key or command which will allow you to switch to another monitor. Wayward Vagabond, press tab. The Wayward Vagabond has pressed tab. We changed the page. Change the page further. There is tab. Wayward Vagabond, consume several cans. Change page. You feel free. You freeze a heavy brown elixir from the jewels of pink carapace and imbibe like the wind. It is so sweet and sugary, you wonder how so much sugar can fit in one can. Whatever mighty wizard concocted this potion, it is truly deserving of your fear and respect. Wayward Vagabond welcomes the rest into the city. The tabs are naturalized as loyal new citizens of Town. All cans are welcome and equal in your city, regardless of can content and whether empty or full. It's not like emptying a can kills it or anything. They are just cans after all. Wayward Vagabond, hit escape. Change page. Feeling refreshed and heavily caffeinated, you go back to work on the big computer. You hit escape, which seems to minimize the action window thingy, and reveals a history of all the commands you've entered. Change page. And Neil, you're up!
Alrighty.
Do the potted vegetables instead. They look delicious.
You do all of these ones.
Alright.
John, flail about in a distracting manner. Inspect Hag Ash Incident. Do again as the purple words say. Ignore this woman's antics. Indulge the device, but be curt with it. Enough strange poetry from the red text. The purple text is less irrational than the red text. Ridiculous folly. Inexcusable. What color are the words this chum says? Ah, this green text was attractive. Now, view the red text again. John, what are you doing? Stop doing nothing. Troubling. Investigate this. John, pursue adversary in that room. This chum will now know what to do. Read your books. Stay worry those foes. John, turn around. John, salvage your weapon and fight on. You said put the bunny back in the box? Now exalt. Victory spoils are yours. What about that card? 3 minutes? Okay. Gather the scattered bits of your large hammer. Now repair the hammer. The door. John, look at the door. Fine. Now what?
Oh, that really messed with my nose.
Incredibly alarming. Investigate. What's this? Is so outrageous. Interrogate this man, woman. Go on. Me? A quest of futility, then. Yes, I will have to agree with this floating hag about that. The hag mentioned cookies. Pursue her! John, do not say no to the cookies. I command you to get them. John, cookies, now! This impudence is insufferable. Get the cookies! John, you are stupid. Stupid, stupid, dumb. 24 minutes. Ugh. For the last time, I command you, get the cookies, boy. 16 minutes. John, or Mr. John, respectfully ask that you please stand up. 15 minutes. Wow, my name.
Oh, the time isn't actually in that. Sorry.
Alright.
It just copied
Not
over.
bad.
Now, sir, boy, flee from this rabble post-haste. Well done, John. Polite congratulations. Now, my civil fellow, I have a well-mannered query. John, might I bother you for a can opener? Fellow John, it appears we have reached an impasse. The opener dilemma remains unsettled, most unfortunately. But it has been a pleasure nonetheless. Oh, but thank you. Thank you so much. Very, very much. Dear, favorable small primate, I shall take my leave now, John. Until next time.
You use the arrow key to scroll up a bit. You can't believe how much you've already typed into this stupid contraption. What a waste of time. Change page. Good job, Neil.
Thank you.
You scroll all the way up to your first command. It looks like there are more commands above it. Maybe someone was entering commands in this thing before you. There aren't many more. At the top of this list appears to be the very first command. Wayward Vagabond. Type switch to. Change. You activate switch 2. The signal is garbled and you have no idea what you're looking at. Some sort of filthy beggar pleading for help. No one is around and nothing is happening. You seem to be locked out of any sort of interaction with whatever is happening on this monitor. Wayward Vagabond, type switch 3. Change page. It's another one of those rapscallions. This monitor is locked too. You can't tell him what to do. Not that you really want to, since it looks more confusing nonsense to you. You consider switching to screen 4, but decide against it. You have a feeling that whatever's there would just confuse you even more, and you don't really care all that much anyway. Wayward Vagabond, type home. Like California. All 4 screens activate. Together they display a countdown, starting at 4 hours and 13 minutes. Wayward Vagabond, type reboot. Change. You can't. Nothing is working anymore. The timer seems to have disabled the keyboard. Wayward Vagabond, be the mayor. Change. Enough of this nonsense. You are an important mayor, and this absurd contraption has wasted enough of your time. You've got a city to govern with a carapace fist, which is to say, firm yet polished and supple as the situation demands. Anyway, this will help kill some time while you wait for that clock to count down. Wayward Vagabond, create employment opportunities for citizen cans. Change page. You temporarily dismantle City Hall to free up all the can power available to create a vigilant town militia. You divide them into 2 groups, marking them with distinct teams and ranks using the piece of white chalk and the motor oil. Then you organize them in phalanx across the city side, preparing for a stiff training regiment. When you are through with them, your forces will be a well-oiled machine. Chalk another one up to bold leadership. Wayward Vagabond, lead your men to victory. Change. You waste more than 4 hours on this tomfoolery. Wayward Vagabond, mourn the loss of Citizen Tab. Change. Your caffeinated jiggering must have agitated all the little bubbles curiously hidden in the liquid, creating too much pressure in the can. You speculate that this is why it exploded as you nervously eye the timer. You are starting to wonder what will happen when it reaches 0. Maybe it would be best not to be near it when this happens. Minutes in the future, change the page! Though not perhaps as few as implied by circumstance, a peregrine mendicant trundles precarious cargo through the gleam of the celestially ominous. Wayward Vagabond, go outside and get some sun. Change. You say a bittersweet goodbye to your beloved city. It's time to move on to greener pastures, by which of course you mean an arid, sandy wasteland upon which nothing green has grown in years. Change. The door shuts behind you. A panel on the door becomes illuminated. As you ponder over the marks on the panel, you hear another mechanical sound overhead. Change.
I'm gonna switch over to my John Lovitz impression, okay?
Sounds good.
Change, by the way.
Follow me.
Alright. The LCD panel appears to have a touchscreen interface. Wayward Vagabond, curiously prod the funny-looking spirograph. Change the page. Acting, thank you. It appears the funny-looking spirograph room is locked. Change the page.
The floor rotates a full 360 degrees beneath you, while the surrounding wall seems to stay put. Wayward Vagabond, select the trianguli fractal. Change the page. The triangly fractal room does not appear to be locked. Change the page again. The floor turns 120 degrees and the door opens. Change the page. You go through the door to find another room. It's the same size as the one you just wasted all that time in, while a clock was ticking down to something which may or may not be your doom. Maybe there is something in here that will help you escape. Against the wall, there is another perplexing contraption. Change the page. Against the opposite wall, there is some sort of control panel, which catches your eye. It has two large screens, but only one appears to be active. There are fields for numbers which appear to be modifiable, with the dials to the right. Some numbers are already supplied by default, perhaps entered by the previous user. There are a few buttons below, the largest one bearing the symbol marking this room. Also, it looks like there is a meter stick propped up there for some reason. Wayward Vagabond, attach your trusty knife to the meter stick. Change! You immediately craft a measuring spear through possibly the most advanced form of alchemy employed thus far. It is obviously the most important thing to do first. Obviously. Change. Thank you. Or it would obviously be the most important thing to do if you had remembered to bring your trusty knife. You feel so insecure without your trusty knife. It makes you want to slit your wrist, or at the very least, flog your carapace with some sort of measuring apparatus. Wayward Vagabond, look at the other wall. Change. Thank you. You examine the perplexing contraption across the room. You, of course, have no idea what it could possibly do. You adopt the only obvious course of action, which is to poke and prod it with your handy ruler. You are quite sure that this is what science is all about. Wayward Vagabond, press the triangle pattern. Change. You go back to the control panel, which probably obviously controls that gizmo, and you push the big blue button, which is obviously probably the most obvious thing to push. Change. You will purify a pumpkin. Wayward Vagabond, examine pumpkin. Change. It seems this mysterious gourd was transported, purified, from a specific time and location somewhere on this planet. On this planet you are on. You wonder if the machine, a purifier, will take any object that exists at whatever time and location you supply.
Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. There is a symbol carved on the pumpkin. You don't know what it means, and you doubt it will ever prove relevant in any way. Wayward Vagabond, devour pumpkin. Change. You consider dining on the ripe flesh of the plump vegetable, but your curiosity about the purifier gets the better of you. You try to sneak a nibble of the pumpkin nonetheless. Wayward Vagabond, inspect green buttons. Change. I'm just going to read it straightforward from now on.
Okay.
You first examine the attractive green buttons, the icon for which on the left is that of the house shape you've seen plenty of times before. The right one, on closer inspection, looks to be the map of this underground facility, with an X marking its center. Wayward Vagabond, press green button on the right. Change. You push the button. All of the numbers change. Perhaps these are the coordinates for the location of the center of this facility, along with the local date and time. If this is the case, it would make a useful reference point for your current bearings. Wayward Vagabond, fiddle with the dials. Change. One way to find out would be to attempt to purify something from this facility. It should be easy to zero in on a location relative to the center, because you have an uncanny knack
for tracking precise distances you have already traversed in whatever units you choose. Your handy ruler gives you a good clue to the basic unit of human measurement. You will go with that. Wayward Vagabond, purify your trusty knife. Is this a dagger I see before me? You nudge the coordinates very slightly and bump the elevation up to by 0.5 human measurement in units. You make sure to keep the knife. You make sure to keep the time approximately what it was to begin with. You will purify your trusty knife. Wayward Vagabond, purify Cantown. Change. You nudge the numbers a bit more and purify a bunch of cans. This is so much more efficient than walking back to the other room to get them. You are to believe that that time is at a premium after all. Wayward Vagabond, purify the pumpkin. Change. Does this machine look like a purifier to you? Honestly, the idea that a purifier could both purify and purify things is so laughably ridiculous. You wish someone would purify your brain and repurify it with a brain that is more smart and less dumb. Wayward Vagabond, use trusty knife to carve spook schema in pumpkin. Change. What the hell are you talking about? That idea makes no sense at all and is basically meaningless. Try using that mushy stuff in the gourd next time. Instead, you just carve off the top, exposing a decadent cache of gorgeous, seed-laden ambrosia. Needless to say, you consume it all rather quickly, but it turns out to be too gross for us to watch. Wayward Vagabond, move Spirograph switch. Change. You cannot move it. It has a spirograph-shaped indentation and possibly will require a special kind of key to turn it. Wayward Vagabond, purify Firefly out of the amber. Change. And change again. You release your blinky new friend. You will give her a name when something suitably whimsical occurs to you. Wayward Vagabond, adjust time dial to purify rotten pumpkin. Change. The past. You and Serenity consider new ways to waste more time with the purifier. You are assuming she is a girl firefly, even though you are not really sure that fireflies can even be girls. You target the extremely tasty rotten pumpkin that was sitting on the other room hours ago. Change. It seems the purifier cannot purify something if it will create a time paradox. A gelatinous ghost pumpkin purifies and quickly dissolves into a pile of unappetizing sludge. Wayward Vagabond, purify the grate over the entrance to the facility. Change. Serenity blinks a message of urgency. You nearly forgot that while trapped in the amber, she was witness to all of your tomfoolery and dilly-dallying in the other room, and knows the timer is about to expire. It is time to get the show on the road and escape. Everything all right? You reset the coordinates with the right green button again, and this time only adjust the elevation by approximately 10 human units. Change. Wayward Vagabond, hasten to the exit. Post haste. Change. Oh wait. Change. You attempt the rare and highly dangerous 5 times cliffhanger combo and fail. We are doing it, man. We are making this happen. Wayward Vagabond, ascend. Change. And change again. End of Act 2. Alright, this next part is actually Nana. So if somebody would like to read that, and I'll just say change. Nico, maybe?
Sure, okay. Dear John.
Change. And this will be the last page we do. Colonel Sasker's daunting text of magical frivolity and practical japery.
You are no doubt reading this as a handsome and strapping young man. Why, the man Grit needed to lift the book itself as is itself a sign of your maturity, not even to speak of the wisdom needed to grasp the nuance of Sasker's time-tested mischief. I am so proud of you, grandson. How I wish I could have delivered this heirloom to you in the flesh, but I am afraid it wasn't in the cards. For you see, John, like you, this book must yet take a journey. Its journey will end on the final day of my life, and even then we'll continue some. Though I suppose that will be up to your father. Perhaps he will discuss it with you one day, when he and you are ready. But it is your journey I'm talking about, to wish you luck. There will come a day when you will be thrust into another world, and once you arrive, that is only the beginning. You will soon delve even deeper into a realm of warring royalty in a timeless expanse. A realm of agents and exiles and consorts and colonel sprites, of toiling underlings and slumbering denizens. A realm where four will gather, the air of breath and seer of light, the night of time and witch of space, and together they will ascend. John, if only you knew how important you were. I regret my passing came so early in your life, and yet I feel in my heart we've already met. But what I know for sure is that we will meet again. Until then, John, I do hope your father keeps you well fed. With love, Nana. P.S. Hoo-hoo-hoo.
And that concludes Act 2. Good job, people.
All right, nice job,
Yeah.
everybody.
All right.
Yes.
And, well, unfortunately, folks, it is that time again where we have to bring the show to an end.
Yep.
So, while I'm not Orson Welles, I do believe that a great cast deserves a second bow. So, starting from the top.
Sorry, I was Alex. I am Alex. And I was Dave.
Next.
I'm Heather, and I was Rose.
I am Nico, and I was Jade and Nana.
I am Neil, and I was Wayward Vagabond.
And I am your loving and reliable Uncle Walrus, Jonathan Knoll. And I was the narrator and John. Please come back next week. We can't wait for you to listen to another thrilling adventure of the Homestuck Readers Theater Hour. Until then, you may now place your order. The Homestuck Readers Theater Hour was created and hosted by Jonathan Knoll. Homestuck was created by Andrew Hussey, and as such, all characters, situations, and dialogue belong to him. Homestuck can be found on mspaintadventures.com. This show is protected by First Amendment rights and parody law. If you would like to perform in the Homestuck Readers Theater Hour, contact Jonathan Knoll at radioactive.walrus.entertains@gmail.com, all lowercase. Find us on Twitter at Radio Walrus Pod, that's capital R, capital W, capital P in Radio Walrus Pod. Or like and comment on the Radioactive Walrus Entertainment page on Facebook. If you like our show, please tell your friends, and as always, you may now place your order. This has been a production of Radioactive Walrus Entertainment.
John, what do chickens say?